Hey guys, Ryan here, RyTek Marine again. Today I'm going to show you installing the LiveSight Transom Transducer bracket. So take it out of the box. In the box will be the actual bracket. Comes with the grommet like all the other ones. So to do it, you just have to take it apart, undo the bolts that come loose. Those are 9/16 for when you go to put them back together. Take it apart. Totally disassemble. And take the cable, feed it through. Just like so. Set the upper bracket to the side. Like that. Then you take your little bolts that came with it with the lock washers, and just like what I recommend in all the other ones, just start them. Don't snug them up or anything quite yet. So I'm going to put them on. And once you get all four of them in, just line the bracket up on the transducer, and then you can tighten them up. Quick and easy. Oops. You don't have to get too crazy torquing them down. Remember, they're just tiny, so just tight enough to keep them where they're supposed to be. Then I like to put the wire in behind the center, the bushing. Pull the grommet out for now. And all depends on which way you have it on the boat. You can slide the 3/8 bolt in either side. In this case, I'd like to have it so that if I have my TM150 right beside it, so if I want to take this one off, I can't physically pull the bolt if I have it the other way. So this way here, I'll put the bolt on the left side, or the nut, sorry, put it through, and all I'm going to do is keep it loose for now, just assemble it up there, but get the idea there. And the washer, or the grommet, sorry, just I always recommend just putting your mouth a little bit, get a little bit moist to slide it in. Always have the cut to the back. Actually, just realized that grommet had a cut too far through it. There we go. So just slide it in there until it goes all the way back and is good. Put some pressure on the actual grommet with the cable, and it does good. So that's basically it. So it can pivot, do whatever, and move the camera over to the boat and finish the rest up. Quick for the rest of the installation, to mount into the actual hull or your plastic board, in my case is UHMW, I recommend a number 12 screw. They usually come with number 8s. That's a pretty tiny screw for holding such a big transducer on. So I make these slots big enough that I'll take a number 12, no problem. So you want to put the number 12 through, you get lots of good screw engagement into the plastic or into the hull, whatever you're doing, and it'll be good. So I'll move it over to the boat and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I have actually had a bracket on this board already that has the exact same screw pattern, so I don't have to drill the holes in there. I know they're exactly where I want them. One little difference here that I do compared to with this bracket compared to my standard height bracket that you'd see on my normal 3-in-1s is I actually have this sucked down pretty far. This transducer is pretty high, so pretty deep. So I actually put my low mount on it. I can still sell you different heights of the upper brackets. The standard height, which is your 0, your standard one. This one here drops the overall height of the bracket 3/4 of an inch. And then I can also do a raised bracket that would actually lower this 3/4 of an inch. But I want to have it actually as tight in as I can, and I actually don't want this transducer in the water at speed. Again, it's a pretty expensive transducer. It does not need to be in the water at all during speed because it's not what it's meant for. So I want to have it sitting way up above. So what I'm going to do is use this bracket, put it on, I'll pull the grommet. Seeing I've already got the holes drilled, this is fairly quick and easy. Just put one through. Getting bit by black flies here today. Alright, so just start the one, get it down to, definitely don't want it tight yet, but just get it down to the point that it's not flopping around too much. Do the opposite side. Put the center one in. There we go. So, like I say, this one here you actually want it high. It's not like the normal skimmer that you want to be skimming to read the depth at speed or anything like that. So I'm going to put it right up pretty well as high as I want, as I can, but I don't really want the edge up above the board because I just look kind of dumb. But I'm just going to put it right there. Screw it down. It's to the point that I should have almost put the bracket on before I did the... Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the bracket off quick. Sometimes it's a lot easier to do this with the bracket, the transducer off and that through bolt out of there. So I'm going to pull that, get that out of the way, just set it down. There we go. Now you can get in nice, square, and perfect. And again, you just want to make sure that transducer is actually level to the water as far as side to side, right? So, and that I already know because I already had a bracket on here. So tighten that down. Those number 12 screws, they can tighten pretty tight. You don't have to worry about stripping anything out. You do always want to use a screwdriver though. Don't use a drill or impact or anything like that to tighten them up, because that's all you need to do is strip out your holes and have to start over. So make sure the grommet's back up. Put the center bolt in. Get that where it needs to be. There we go. Straight through, done wash around again. And get the grommet back. And like I say, you can do it dry. It helps to put a bit of water on it when you're doing it. Let's turn that around. I did it backwards. Make sure that you put the cut to the back when you put it in, so that just keeps it from wanting to slide out once it's in. So that's in there, perfect. And so the trick to this thing, the cool thing about this transducer is you can run it a bunch of different ways. So I just want to explain that here. You just get the cord up out of the way, I'll throw it up on top of the transom. All right, there we go. So, for straight down scans, say you're jigging, you want to have it on, just straight in line, parallel with the water, so you get a good picture. For me, I'm going to be using, my application that I'm going to be using LiveSight for is actually trolling. So I'm going to do one of two things, and there aren't too many guys yet talking about trolling with the LiveSights, but I've used it now before and it works phenomenal. I'm actually going to run it on either the 30-degree angle and set the graph, set the live to forward scan. So what that's going to do is actually shoot down 90 down to the bottom and then shoot parallel with the water. So I'll get a good view of everything there. Basically, I'll be able to see fish crossing, doing anything. They'll be coming in from one side to the other, coming at you, whatnot. Or I'm going to set it at a 45, a couple degrees down, and then set it to the down view mode. What that's going to do is 45 off the transducer. What actually happens there then is I've actually used that view for running in reverse, shooting back at my downrigger balls and flashers and cut bait already, and being able to see salmon and whatnot come right in. So I'm going to be using it for salmon coming up here shortly, and also walleye. Our walleye on Lake Erie right now are still kind of small, that if I'm using the downriggers in deep water, some of the 2-pounders, they don't really have enough strength to pull the actual downrigger release off and be able to release the line there. So to be able to have the LiveSight on and actually watching the baits, which you're able to do, you're actually able to see if there's any fish on the actual line there that don't have enough strength to trip the downrigger release. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to mount it just at about that amount of degrees there for now. And 9/16 wrenches, going to tighten it up, but here's the trick. This one here, I'm actually going to keep it just loose enough, and I'll show you in a second here. And you're going to have to fine tune this when you're on the water, because the water adds a little bit of lubricity to it. So it'll actually pivot a bit more once it's in the water. But I'll show you how I want to set it up and then go from there. So there we go. So here, it's snug, it's not crazy, it would never ever move from water or anything like that. But basically, this amount, it's allowing me to pivot, go to down view if I want to have it on down. Say I'm in a spot I want to jig, quick reach over the back of the transom, push it down, or I want to go to the front scan or the actual down view on the 45-degree angle, I can quickly pivot it on my own. So it's a nice versatile mount. And like I say, being up high enough, if I just use this wrench as a straight edge across the bottom here, I'm still 1.5 inches above the actual water line when the boat's on planes. So it's not going to be in the water at all, so it's going to be fantastic. So what I'll do, that's the installation video. I just got to put the cables on here. And I'm actually not going to be routing this through the hull. I'm going to use wire this one directly to my HDS Live 7-inch that I have back by the transom. So I'm just going to have those wires. I'm going to route them, but that I can pull it off easily. So if I want to move this back to my trolling motor, I easily can. So I'm just going to strap the wires up, and I can quickly move it on and off whenever I want. I'll probably land up keeping the bracket, the upper bracket. It's going to stay on all the time. Just pull the pin and switch out the bottom bracket on the transducer if I want to go to the trolling motor or whatnot. But for now, I'm into the late summer months where we're into a lot of trolling here in Ontario. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and that's why I put this back on. So that's the video. In the next couple days when I get it out in the water, I'll do some more actual videos of how it's all working on the water and settings that I'm using, and show some detail there. But I was thoroughly impressed when I was using it the other week. One other quick note here, you can see I got a cover on my 3-in-1 transducer. Actually, this is a 2-in-1, sorry. It's the exact same physical dimensions as a 3-in-1, but it doesn't have 2D, so it just does the side scan and down scan. So that's the 2-in-1. But I made this cover up for it. I'm going to be making a bunch of these for the future for all the different transducers. I live on gravel, so I want to cover these transducers up whenever I can, just stone chips and stones coming up, whatnot. So I'm actually in the process of making covers for the 3-in-1s, 2-in-1s, 3-in-1s, all the structure scan transducers, total scan, all that. And then I'll be doing one for the TM150 and then also the Lives. So these are all big transducers, so, and these ones are worth a lot of money, so we want to make sure we keep them protected. So that's the video, and like I say, in a couple days from now I'll get out on the water and I'll take some actual videos of that live, actually pointing backwards in a trolling situation, and be able to show you what all is happening there.